Welcome to this presentation on lessons learned and best practice for you and your apprentices when completing the Summative portfolio. Over the last few years, our independent endpoint assessors, EPAs, have reviewed a wide range of evidence, and we've looked to take their experiences and advice to help you. My name is Ken Gaines, Technical Advisor for Digital Skills and Technology, and I work with David Wackett, who is the industry manager that looks at what and how we develop products for our sector. We are quite often asked these questions by training providers when they start their delivery, in order to gauge what they need to get from their apprentices. We know that the 3 projects talked about in the assessment plan does not work naturally for some, and that the concept of a project conjures up substantial amounts of work. The idea behind this presentation is to provide guidance on these and the wider construction of the Summative portfolio. To be clear, on-program qualifications are tested by multiple choice tests and are the answer at a moment in time. We need to see that the apprentice can understand how what they have learnt delivers on what they do, how they do it, and who they do it with. We do not need the curriculum from the course you use to teach them the knowledge. We will not be providing example portfolios. Who do we show you? One from a large corporate that trains staff to write official reports, or one from a small digital agency that is very informal? Or do we provide lots of different ones? We want apprentices to write things up as naturally as possible. Tell us a story, but we will give you some structure and guidance here. In terms of length of the Summative portfolio, how long is a piece of string? The key is it is about quality and not quantity. Anything the apprentice does that has a beginning, middle, and an end that can be planned, has a result, and can be reflected on can be a project. And while the assessment plan says 3, the important part is that they provide evidence to cover all the outcomes as required in the assessment plan. As with old ways of working, the rule of 3 does show a range of coverage and is more likely to meet everything than anything less. You and the apprentice need to be checking you have met the outcomes. How are you doing this? What is a checklist? What do you use for a checklist to indicate when evidence has been covered for what outcome? Whatever you use, please include it. It helps the IEPA and it can ensure that nothing is missed. And that leads to structure and the content. Again, we're not going to say there should be particular headings, but we have in the past given some guidance of how we want your apprentices to tell us their story. At an event last year, one centre stated that our idea sounded a lot like the STAR method for interviews, something we have subsequently found a number of training providers do use, and why we now recommend this to you. At the beginning of their Summative portfolio, our lead independent assessors would ask that your apprentices provide a short personal profile. Who are they? What is their job role? What are they mostly involved with? And even what things they may not do a lot. This sets the context for all that follows and will help the independent assessor to know why some evidence is not as strong as others. That will enable them to ask appropriate questions in the interview. We've added an extra R just to get some idea behind their thinking and how they view what they have done. To put this in perspective, as mentioned, any task they undertake that has a beginning, middle, and end could be a project. Do not think in terms of organisation-wide activities or marketing campaigns. Of course, the evidence needs to be valid. Don't include things that might have happened or that has no bearing on any outcome in the standard. I am sure you understand authentic. And while our handbook suggests they or you sign every page, we only need the front page of each piece of evidence signed and dated. The rest will be covered by the authentication form you both have to sign. Current is simple. Only work done since they joined the apprenticeship program they're now on can be included. No previous work from school or college or work undertaken as an employee prior to beginning the apprenticeship should be included. Also, no homework. We are looking for tasks from a real work environment? Sufficient is not easy to answer, but think quality and not quantity. Have they met all the outcomes, even if some evidence is weak? Have you really put their best work in? Have they written it so we can clearly see the pattern of their working and the flow of their thinking? Consistent simply means pick a style of reporting and stick to it. It helps the independent assessor get into a rhythm of reading, and they know what to expect at each stage of any document presented. Pick one font style, not Comic Sans or anything else fancy, and don't switch about in the documents or between documents. And if they use material from elsewhere, make sure they reference it. We don't expect Harvard referencing, but do expect they acknowledge work or images that are not theirs. And remember, this is a summative portfolio. We don't want everything they've done or a story of their learning history, just their best work. And please provide some referencing as to what evidence covers what outcomes. So let's look at STAR in a bit more detail. We're after their story. You and the employer have told us they can do the job and meet the outcomes. What we ask the apprentice is show us what you do. Remember, any activity can be classed as a project if it can be linked to the outcomes and explained with a beginning, middle and end. If they do lots of different bits, then collate them into appropriate groups and talk them through. And then take one of those and extract it and go through in detail for the action. Now let's look at the STAR. So in terms of situation, what were you asked to do? Why was it you that was asked to do it, and who asked you? This could include regular maintenance activities, a collection of smaller activities on a single theme, or a distinct task and project that has been set the apprentice. In terms of the task, what we're looking for is the detail of what they propose to do, their plan of actions to be undertaken with an explanation as to why they've decided to do those things in a certain way. That links back to the learning and covers the knowledge. And why elements of the plan have to be done in a certain order. Again, that links back to the knowledge that you've provided and that they've learned on the job. In terms of the action, we're looking for them to walk through what they're doing or what they did, with screenshots, photos, even videos, and appropriate annotation. If they do a video, they need to make sure they are in the video and that they are narrating what they are doing. If they don't like talking on the video, then that's not a problem. Take the video with them in it doing the actions and then add a script afterwards. In terms of the result, what was the outcome of the work carried out? Was it the success you expected, or didn't it go as well as you thought it would? Was it the result that was being expected by the customer or not? Who provided feedback to tell you whether it was good, bad, or indifferent? Did you hand the work over to somebody to get it signed off? Did you have a plan B when things were going wrong? And then into the reflection, did your plan work? And if it didn't, what are you going to do about it next time around? Are you going to be asked to do the same thing around? Have you an idea of how it might be done differently? And what else might you have done that may have helped you carry that task out? Here is a simple example for an apprentice involved in doing software maintenance and updates. In terms of the situation, they are telling us what has been asked. It's part of their regular work, so we're not looking for a particular whom. And they're also telling us what they will do when they've completed the task. In terms of the task itself, they're providing a plan, and it doesn't have to be a Gantt chart or anything fancy. It can just be an outline in text put together in a word process document. They're giving us timings in which they expect to do the work, and they're indicating when the updates will be applied once they've completed their plan. They've also said how they will check their actions and do their testing and who that will involve. In terms of the actions, we would then expect them to take us through the various checks for updates with screenshots or video, the work required to run and implement the updates, and then the checks that the new software has been deployed. Here they are also showing how they're going to do that checking with the users. In terms of the results, Did all the updates get completed? Did everything still work? What was the feedback from the users? And the report submitted to the manager. If it did not go to plan, then we would expect to see something in the report about what action they will take or what they're going to ask their manager to do as appropriate. In terms of reflection, any feedback from their manager. If it all went to plan, would they change things or do things the same way again next time? If it didn't go to plan, well, how would they compensate for this earlier within the work that they were doing and make sure that they can check to see that things can be kept on track? City and Guilds is keen to keep supporting its customers at this time. We understand COVID-19 is affecting everybody and disrupting normal work. Because of that, we've created a COVID-19 page, and this is updated on a very regular basis, almost daily. So please check this as often as you can. You'll find on there some help in terms of operating in the situation we're currently in, information about endpoint assessment, dispensations, etc. that we have been given, advice and support and useful links, digital resources that are available, what is happening around functional skills and essential skills, and also what is happening in terms of technical qualifications if you're running those. For the digital space, we have had notification from NSAR. They've been given dispensation by the Institute for Apprenticeships so that the Synoptic project can be undertaken at home. And the information on how to proceed with this and how to use this facility is under the EPA guidance on the COVID-19 webpage. If you require any paperwork in terms of filling out who is going to be using this system in terms of your apprentices and for which apprenticeship, and also we need them to keep a timing record if you need some template for that, then this can be provided by our EPA team. We know that not every training provider will be in a position to actively work in a remote situation. So we are providing free e-learning materials to support the management of COVID-19. We're providing free access for 3 months to our platforms and content to support distance learning where it is available on SmartScreen. For the digital space, the majority of this is the EPA preparation area where there's advice and guidance around the various EPA elements. In terms of the Unified Communications Technician, we are asking that the apprenticeship training manual be included as part of this to allow this to be used between you and the apprentices. We're providing free tools to help an apprentice work with Remote Assessor to prepare them for the endpoint assessment. We also have some paid materials. As part of our Get to Gateway online learning materials, these are available for Digital Marketer, Infrastructure Technician, and Network Engineer. If you would like more details on these, please contact your account manager or contact the customer service team, and they will have somebody contact you to give you a demonstration and take you through them. The Get to Gateway is more than just a product for getting your apprentices to the end tests before they go through Gateway. It contains a wealth of learning in there that helps with both knowledge, understanding, and provides activities for them to prove that they can use that knowledge in practice. Please get in touch and we'll look to help you. In terms of support for customer service, we're going to try and operate as normal as we possibly can. Although, like you now, the majority of our staff are now working from home. So please bear with us, as you can appreciate the level of calls and emails that are coming into the business have grown substantially. But our EPA customer success team, EPA support team, will and can get in touch with you if you request this via our normal customer service number or an email to the customer service team. They can sort out issues around procedures or what is happening with bookings and talk you through how to use Walled Garden, the portal, etc. as you need. We also have our regional EPA partnership managers, and they can help you through joining the City and Guilds EPA Club. They can support you and your employers and track down items such as certificates, bookings, etc. that you may be struggling with and trying to find out what's happened. Please call the customer service team if you need that sort of help and ask for one of the 4 people named on this slide to get in touch. David and I want to stay in touch with you and to also keep you informed of what is happening within the digital standards portfolio. We have had to change some of the dates that we originally proposed at the end of April due to City and Guilds staff being put on furlough for some of this time. However, these dates are now confirmed. The 12th of May will be at 2:30, and it will be a chance for you to ask any questions and bring up any issues that you may be having at the time around EPA or on programme. The launch of our new offer in the digital standards sector has been postponed at this time, and we will notify you when this will be happening. We've also now included another keep in touch session, any questions surgery, on the 2nd of June at 9:30. At each of these events, our intention is to provide you with updates on what is happening and next event schedules, be they face-to-face or more webinars. Please, please, please make sure you have signed up for email updates that you will find at the bottom of our main website. Our email update system is how we get things out to all of our customers around various issues, be that funding, be that exams, be that updates around what is happening in terms of COVID-19. So please make sure that you have signed up. Finally, some useful links for you. Please note that I will be out for the rest of April, and then David will be on furlough for May. So any emails you send in to us, can you make sure that you send it to both David and myself to ensure that we pick those up and address them appropriately. For additional information around apprenticeships, you can always contact apprenticeships@cityandguilds.com. But as said right at the beginning, please, please, please make sure that you are checking on a regular basis the COVID-19 webpage on our website. You will also find a lot of useful information on our apprenticeship web hub, and you'll find things on there around bookings in walled garden as well as endpoint assessment booking guides. And for those of you who do not know how to sign up for email updates, we've provided the URL here. David and I thank you for going through this presentation. We hope you found the information useful. Please stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you in the not too distant future.